video yesterday, and I gotta tell you, I am over people posting their workouts on social media. The nerve. Like, we need to see your workouts in your gym with your sweat.
All right, this is funny.
It is so... I'm joking. I'm joking. I love it. I love it all. I love every last second of what I'm looking at. Sign me up for the whole thing. The low angles, the high angles, shirt, no shirt, dunks, passes, balls, burpees, sweat, swag, LeBron, Russ, my friend Allie. I don't care who it is. If you're selling hype or high intensity, I'm in. Whether you're wearing clothes like Brody or no clothes like LeBron, who's practically playing naked. In fact, Nick, I might even post a little something of the fitness nature myself today. Can't make any promises. It'll obviously be a first for me. Check out the old Instagram page. Maybe I'll dive into the fitness world a little bit. I'll post something like the Lakers did last night.
It'd be a good
I might
departure.
even do it during the show.
It'd be a surprising departure.
Yeah.
There you go, as opposed
Huge
to
departure.
the normal, just photos, loving photos of your children and family, which is usually just your Instagram page lousy with.
Just a peek at LeBron James and Russell Westbrook getting a workout in. And while there are plenty of how will it all work out questions that can be asked, this, my friends, gets me pumped and excited. Because this right here, fellas, means the season is almost upon us. How excited are you to see how this plays out?
If we were playing that numbers game over there, I'd say a 10.
You say a 10 when all the way, what the numbers is?
I can smell it right around the corner. These photos just kind of whet the appetite that much more. Of course, we'll be able to maybe see them in person in a week and a half once they start practicing and sending us some videos of that, which, hey, it's going to be great to see, in particular, how those two guys work together. Cannot wait to see how it all shakes out, AK.
I mean, the photos just start making it real.
Yeah.
Like, this goes from something we've been hearing about and imagining and all, and now we see Russell Westbrook, we see LeBron James working out together, trying to figure out some of the questions that we all have in terms of how are these two guys who are both so talented in very similar ways, including being ball dominant.
Yeah.
How are they going to figure out how to make it work with each other? Definitely can.
You kind of led me my next thing, AK, so I'm going to start with you. What are your expectations for both these guys? Because they are alphas.
Yeah.
They have been leaders their whole career, and you just nailed it. The ball's always in their hands.
Yeah.
For years.
Well,
so how does it look?
Look, I assume that when LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook talked before this trade was made about the ways to work together, they all
over
said
a nice dinner and some wine.
Oh my!
Yes.
Can you imagine
Tequila,
the wine,
lots of wine.
and tequila at this dinner? Must have
It's
been.
a long dinner.
It was not in the box.
Yeah.
No, I mean, unless it was a really expensive box. But like, I have to imagine the word sacrifice came up a bunch of times.
Multiple
Like
times, yeah.
everybody's going to have to give some in order to make this work.
Yeah. Brez, you've only answered this 37 times over the last month because we like to talk about it. It's kind of the thing that's out there. Like, how will it work with these guys? These guys that, dominate their teams.
Yeah, by the way, where's the picture of LeBron, like, embracing Russ because he has another guy who can really take the playmaking responsibility off his hands. And so I think that's a big step. That's a huge reason why the Lakers got this guy. And it's going to be interesting. Maybe Russ is a little bit more the point guard, and LeBron is more of the guy off the ball. He'll be setting screens, maybe popping out for some mid-range stuff, maybe more threes from LeBron. Russ is definitely not a three-point shooter, right around 30% compared to the other guys in the league. There are definitely some point guards out there that are better, but I cannot wait to see these two guys work together.
I want to talk about what you guys think Russ's biggest impact on this team will be. I've put a little thought into it, and I keep kind of going back to, I always feel that when you have teams that have won a championship, I usually say this the next year, but teams that have guys that have won rings multiple times, they kind of know how to get it done. It's nice to have a star on your team that hasn't won one. I think Russ's biggest impact can be how he operates on a daily basis because he's so driven to get there. On those nights in February, in March, where maybe we're bored and we're looking forward to the playoffs, Russ still brings that A game.
Yeah,
what do you think?
The energy is going to be there with Russell Westbrook. I mean, he plays 100 miles an hour, for better or for worse, sometimes both, at all times. It can be contagious. I think he puts his stamp on a game in a way that teammates are going to feel. Also, he is exceptionally competitive, even by NBA athlete standards. Like, he may be the most singularly competitive superstar.
Is that what he makes his biggest impact, in your opinion?
Look, I mean, I think he is up there in competitiveness with Kobe. And Kobe used to talk about that all the time with Westbrook and something that he admired in him. And I think that is in and of itself an energy.
Where do you think he's going to impact his team the most?
One word: pace. And the Lakers were not, one of the best teams in the league in that last season, especially when guys started getting hurt. A lot of walking the ball up the court, which I get. When you run out of LeBron and AD on your team, what's left but to try to slow things down, try to concentrate on defense, which they did a great job of doing. But Russ, you kind of alluded to it, AK. This guy is all spit and fire and venom, and he's going to come at you time after time after time. By the way, 6th in the NBA in rebounding. I mean, he's going to grab those defensive boards and just go crashing at 90 miles an hour to the other end, come hell or high water. Can't wait to see how it looks.
Brez brings up a great point. Russ is relentless.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he keeps going and going, and he wears on you. Even with Russ's flaws, we've talked them to death. They exist, but just coming at you constantly.
Reminds me of your Twitter followers.
Yes.
Just even after you give your example and state your case. Some of them want to keep.
Yes, except unlike those defenses that Russ scores against, I could stop them.
Yes, you can. Great point.
And I stopped them pretty effectively.
Yeah.
Do you mute or block?
Oh, I'm a muter.
You're a muter? Okay.
I think it's so funny, the idea of them screaming at me, and I have no idea. And they don't know that I don't know.
By the way, I find that so fascinating and fun, too. I remember when I first realized what the mute button was.
Oh, it's way
We're getting off topic. In addition to his on-the-court work, as we digress, but it's so fun to talk about. LeBron's not worried about Twitter. He's doing this. He took us inside the weight room.
He's muting us.
One of his workout routines, adding the caption, Year 19 begins in 2 weeks. Let's go. Wow. That's right. The season is right around the corner. The Lakers will play their first preseason game on October 3rd versus the Brooklyn Nets. Can't wait for the first 6 minutes of that preseason game to actually hop on social media, because the reactions are going to be everywhere from they are trash to they're the greatest team of all time, and I cannot wait. Those first 6 minutes when everyone's on the court, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
LeBron's turning 37 in December.
Yeah.
Okay? That is year 19. He's coming off a year where he was playing unreal before Solomon Hill ran into him, and we all know what happened there, the injury. His whole career, he's had the ball in his hands. Do you guys think his game changes at all with the addition of Russ?
Yeah, I think there's going to be kind of, all right, I don't have to bring it every single night. He felt a lot of pressure, really has, for all his years in the NBA to be the guy every single night. And when you have a guy like AD on your team, that helps. And then when you add a guy like Russ, that really helps. So I think LeBron can kind of go back to being the part-time point forward. I mean, he was kind of the full-time point forward here the last couple years. He can kind of, lateral it a little bit. Russ, all yours. You're 5 years younger than me, whatever it is. Have fun, kid.
I'm not saying Prez is wrong, but I'm curious to see that.
Yeah.
Look,
if he wants to.
Look, all of these things, I talked earlier about how you have to assume that LeBron, Russ, AD all talked about sacrifice, and I'm sure they all mean it in the moment, but we were all around the 2013 team that had, Kobe and Pau and Nash, Dwight Howard, Antoine Jameson.
Also, Nash was learning how to play off ball, wasn't he?
But all of these guys went into the season saying they were incredibly excited to make these sacrifices and to let other guys shine. And once you start doing it, it's harder. And I'm not saying that's going to be a problem for these guys. I'm just saying everybody's going to have to be really flexible, really malleable in order to make this work. The good news, though, is that all three of those guys are really flexible, really versatile players.
Yeah.
They can do a lot.
They can. The last time LeBron came off an injury and had a disappointing end to a season, he came back with a vengeance, washed King. Lakers won a championship. He was in attack mode. How do you think he comes out this year?
See, this is why the rest of the NBA, including the Brooklyn Nets, might kind of be like, oh, all right. When the Lakers start off maybe 8-2 or 9-1, granted, first 10 games are kind of soft. But I think LeBron and AD have really thought about why they didn't go further than 6 games into the playoffs. And the number one reason, obviously, health. LeBron missed plenty of games. AD missed half the season. Those two guys, it's been bothering them since the playoffs ended 4 months ago. I lost track of time, guys. It's been a while ago.
Prez loves his offseason.
Yep, it's a lot of time at the beach.
Spent his entire life savings, but he is.
I need to borrow some money from you, Gene. What's your APR these days? You're gonna shark me a little? I just feel like these two guys have definitely been working on their physical stature. Not that LeBron doesn't do it, but maybe even more than ever, and have little chips on both their shoulders.
Yeah, he's coming out ready to go, right?
I remember when LeBron told Barack Obama, former president of the United States, that he was going to cherry pick the first half of the season, let AD do all that. And then he went out like a house of fire anyway. And he's going to lie to Obama.
I can't wait for you to
all bets are off.
I can't wait to see you tonight on Spectrum News 1. I cannot wait to watch it.